Hello guys, this is Ecoda here. In this video, we will be discussing the differences between client-side rendering, server-side rendering and static generation. To begin with, these are the different ways in which you can build a website. In server-side rendering, as the name says, the web page is created completely by the server before it is sent to you. So you get a page which is complete and everything that you need is already there. And this is a traditional way of building websites, and such sites are very common even nowadays. Languages like PHP, Java, ASP.NET, and Python, etc., are used to do server-side rendering. As for client-side rendering, then this is a modern approach, and the number of sites that use this are increasing day by day. Here, the server does not do anything except sending you an HTML file which looks something like this. As you can see, there's nothing much there. It's almost empty with a few links to some JavaScript code, and it is this code which contains all the instructions to construct the web page, how the page should look, what data should be there, from where to fetch the data, etc. So basically it's your browser which downloads this JavaScript code, and it will do all the work by creating the web page based on that. So that is client-side rendering, and JavaScript frameworks like React, Angular, Vue, etc. are used for client-side rendering. Now let's speak about static sites. In static sites, both the server and the browser are almost idle because the web pages are already created completely and they are made readily available even before anyone could request those pages. So whenever you make a request, the server simply sends them to you, and the browser simply displays them. Alright. And tools like Gatsby, Next.js can be used for generating static sites. I'd also like to mention that Next.js is also used for server-side rendering, and it can do a lot more cool stuff. Alright, both server-side rendering and static site generation can be brought under the term pre-rendering, because in both the cases, the web page is rendered before it is sent to the client, except the difference that in server-side rendering, it happens on the fly, meaning whenever a client requests it, the server will generate the page at that time. However, in static sites, the web page is rendered and it is made available even before anyone would request it. So, having known about all the three different approaches, you may now ask what is the best among them, and which one should I follow when I build my site? The answer is there's no absolute best among them, and all these approaches have their own pros and cons, and you have to choose the approach based on the type of site that you're building. Sites that use client-side rendering, initially they may take more time to download the entire JavaScript files, which will be needed for all the pages and all the features of your site. But once they are downloaded, the entire site will become fast, and you can have a great experience, great user experience, which includes navigating between different pages in no time, as if you are on the same page and only the content changed. And this is exactly why sites that use client-side rendering are also known as single-page applications, or more shortly SPAs. And they're also very cheap and very easy to host, since you only have to send an empty HTML page to the user, and there are a lot of free services available to do just that. Alright, now sites which are rendered on the server side, you only request one page at a time. Whenever you visit the site, initially you will be requesting one page at a time, and if you want to see another page, then you have to make another request, and you have to wait for the server to render that page and send that to you. Therefore, you find the entire or overall experience to be slower than client-side rendered apps. However, the advantage is that server-rendered sites are great for SEO, i.e. search engine optimization, because search engine crawlers like that of Google, they see the entire page with all the content, unlike in client-rendered sites in which it only sees an empty page, which make the crawlers think that the page is broken or it is bad. Therefore, the page will be getting a lower rank, thereby ending down lower in people's search results. Therefore, if you are building an online shopping site, for example, where SEO matters a lot, then go for server-side rendering. On the other hand, if you want to build a web app which should offer a very fast and rich user experience, and SEO does not really matter for you, then go for client-side rendering. As for static sites, then they are also very great for SEO, and You can host them very easily and mostly for free, and they are extremely fast. I would say they are even faster than client rendered sites, because the web pages are already rendered and they're made readily available before the user requests it. So that is one cool feature. But on the other hand, static sites are not good when the data of your site changes frequently. If it's changing frequently, then you have to very frequently rebuild all your site, to generate all the static pages once again. So it will not be good if the data is changing very frequently, and also it's not good if different users have to see different content. For example, the Facebook news feed, it looks different for different users, and it also changes over time for a particular user. Therefore, you cannot pre-render it, and you should either use server-side rendering or client-side rendering for that. However, if you're writing a documentation, for example, for your software, then the best solution is to make it a static site, because the content in your site does not change much over time, and you have to show the same content for every user. Also keep in mind that you can mix between different types. For example, some part of your website can be rendered on the server side, and some other part can be rendered on the client side. So when the user makes a request, whatever part that has to be rendered on the server side will be rendered and sent to the client, and then the browser will download the JavaScript and do the stuff which should be rendered on the client side. So you can mix between different types. So that's also another option. Alright, so we have reached the end of this video, and I hope that you got a clear picture about these three approaches. If you want to learn more about this subject, then check out those links in the description of this video. Also, if you have anything to say in this topic, then leave it in the comments box. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future updates, videos and tutorials. Signing off from you, the Z Coder.